Joining us now with more on the nuclear crisis, research fellow at the International Institute for Counterterrorism and at the IDC Herzliya, Dr. Fadi Essmaeel. Dr. Essmaeel, thank you so much for being with us. Now, starting with the back and forth between Tehran and Washington, D.C., we've previously heard that the conflicting demands are just a starting point for negotiations. Do you agree, or do you think that the Iranians are playing hardball again with the American administration that they basically know from 2015?
First of all, good evening to you. Thank you for having me and to our fellow panelists. Sure, I mean, we know what President Biden believes in. He was part of the previous administration, and they are trying to go back to some kind of a conversation with the Iranians, perhaps going back to something like the JCPOA plus a couple of mentions of ballistic missile capabilities and anti-terrorism. Frankly, I think the Iranians now are behaving in the way we predicted they will once President Biden was elected. The Iranians now have something that did not have before, and that is predictability. They know more or less what they are facing. It is a very far cry from what they had in the last 4 years. And therefore, they feel that they can advance with a much more a clear path forward, whether they want to develop an actual weapon or whether they just want to remain as a threshold state, which probably pays them more. Maybe it's better for them at this point in time, at this junction, to remain as a threshold state. Now they know that they don't have to worry, or they think that they know that they don't have to worry about some unpredictable counteraction from Washington, D.C. So that, and that is why we see that rhetoric being upped on the Tehran side. From the American side, we have a dilemma. On the one hand, President Biden does not believe in Trump's policies. He does not want to repeat them or continue with them. On the other hand, he says he doesn't want to become a third Obama administration. So he wants to be able to negotiate the points that President Trump originally brought up. Again, the ballistic missiles, we'll have to see. After all, he's a very experienced leader. And I'm very curious to see what comes in the next few weeks.
All right, well, it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out in the coming weeks. Dr. Essmaeel, thank you again so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.